Hello Oracle folks, this is Justin, and in this Oracle database YouTube video tutorial I'm going to show you how to perform a partial database restore, which means you're only restoring some of the database. Okay, the database we're going to be doing this to is the finance database. So first things first, let's set our Oracle system identifier SID to be finance Oracle underscore SID. And let's ensure that our Oracle underscore SID variable is set correctly, which it is, a value of finance. Now let's log into our finance database with our SQL Plus program. We'll do a show user to ensure that we're connected with the SysDBA user. And we do a select name from $sign database to ensure that we're connected to the correct database, which is finance. Now, in this particular database, the finance database, we're going to do a select tablespace underscore name from DBA underscore tablespaces, and it will show us that these are the table spaces which collectively make up our database. And if we type in select name from $sign data file, these are the data files which collectively make up our table spaces, which collectively make up our database. It's like a Dr. Seuss rhyme or something. Okay. Now, let's say, for instance, that you wanted to back up this database, but you only wanted to restore the app data file. Okay? Now, there could be reasons for this. Number one, you are only interested in the data that's in app 0. Let's say that these are very big table spaces, hundreds and hundreds of gig in size, and it's just full data, and you are only interested in the app01 and in the data that was in the app01 data file. And the way that your data modeling for your application has been done for this database is that each of these table spaces handle its own application. So app01 is data for one application, app02 is data for another Java app, let's say, and app03 is data for another Java app, and they're all self-contained, which means that they can all exist without one another. There's no interdependencies between these guys, okay? Now, they all have interdependencies of these up here because these are part of the database, system, sysaux, and undo. But they don't have interdependencies between each other. So app 1, 2, and 3 don't have interdependencies between each other. So let's say that not only is that the data you want, but let's say that, so you don't want to waste time restoring hundreds and hundreds of gigs of data being in app 2 and app 3 that you don't want. Or let's say that you're going to restore the database, which is, let's say that's how you clone it. There are a lot of ways to clone an Oracle database, to another test system which doesn't have a lot of space, a lot of disk capacity, storage capacity. So, you determine that you don't need app 2 and app 3, all you need is app 1, and you have just enough space for that. So we're going to show you how to do that. So go ahead, and we're going to back up our database using the hot database backup. Now, you could also do this with RMAN if you were configured for RMAN by logging into the RMAN command line utility and doing it in RMAN. Command line interface, CLI, doing it with RMAN. But it works with user managed backups as well. So if you do a select log underscore mode from $sign database, you will see that we're in archive log mode, so we can definitely do this. So first thing is first, and this is per our hot backup procedures. And if you need a refresher on Oracle hot backups, you can watch my video, my YouTube video tutorial where I talk about that. Okay, so go ahead, and the first step in doing a hot backup is to switch an archive log. So we type in alter system archive log current, like so. Select asterisk from $sign backup. We see that all the table spaces are not active, meaning they're not in backup mode. So let's put them in backup mode. You need to do that in order to back them up safely. Alter database begin backup. So that's alter database begin backup. Okay, and if we do that select from asterisk from $sign backup command again, we will see that all of our table spaces are in backup mode, they're active. So let's get out SQL Plus and let's go to the location where the files are, which collectively make up our finance database, which is C:/database or data finance on this system. And if we do a directory listing, we will see the control files, the redo log file members, these system type table spaces of data files that Oracle needs to operate, and of course our 3 app data files, which one of which we only want to restore when we restore this bad boy. Okay, so go ahead, and now that the database is in backup mode, I already created a directory on the system under the root of C called backup, and this right here validates that it is empty. So now that our database is in backup mode, go ahead and copy all the DBF files, so all files that end with a DBF extension, to that location backup. And and notice how we're backing up everything. And I am going to pause the video to save YouTube space while the backup occurs. Okay, the backup is done. All of our data files that end with DBF file extension have been copied. And if we do a directory listing of our backup directory, we will see that they're all there. Now we go back in SQL Plus and we take the database out of backup mode because we copied the DBFs. So we type in alter database and backup. And if we type in select asterisk from $backup, we will see that all the table spaces are now out of backup mode. Now, per the procedure, we do another archive log switch, alter system archive log current, and we take a backup of the control file. But we take a special backup of the control file, and I'll show you what I mean. So we type in, so we go to and we type in alter database backup control file to trace as C:/backup/trace.sql. Okay, this is a special control file backup. So we did alter database backup control file to trace as C:/backup trace.sql. What this backup does is it generates a script, which is a create control file script, SQL script. It's a script that has the create control file SQL command, Oracle SQL Plus command, which creates a control file based on how it looks on this database. And I'll explain in a second. We're also going to take another control file backup, which you don't have to do. I'm only doing it for demonstration purposes. And this is the normal binary backup of the control file. And that is alter database backup control file to C:/backup/control BKP. Okay? And there's no to trace, it's just 2. Okay, so we have 2 copies of our control file now. Now, go ahead and let's shut down our database. And we'll just abort it because we don't care about the instance. Quit out of it. There are files. We'll go ahead and we'll delete all the files that has to do with our database. They're all done. And we do our normal thing where we attempt to start up our Oracle database, and we're getting an error when it goes to phase 2 of startup, which is to try to open the control file, which it can't. Error in identifying control file because we deleted it. So shut down abort. I just do that, you don't have to. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy all the DBF files from my hot backup location. I'm going to do copy, so this is a restore. C:/backup/*DBF, all my DBFs, to the current directory, dot. And I am going to pause this video while the restore occurs. Okay. Our data files have been restored. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to copy your binary control file back. Now this is just normal hot backup recovery procedures. So copy C:/backup/ctl dot, oh sorry, it's BKP, that's where it ends with, there it is, control BKP, and go ahead and rename this to the files that the Oracle database's parameter files are going to be expecting to see. So move control.bkp to control01.ctl, copy control01.ctl to control02.ctl, and copy control02.ctl to control03.ctl. Okay, and we SQL plus. We do a startup mount. Now this is just a binary backup of the control file. Okay. But, so I'm going to mount the database, and I'm going to stop the startup process at mounted, which I did, and I'm going to delete the app2 and app3 data files because I really don't want to restore those. I don't have, let's say I don't have the space to restore them, even though I did. Okay, so we're going to do delete app02.dbf, and we're going to delete app03.dbf. So all we have is app01. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to recover my database. You have to recover because the backup is taking a while. The database is up and running. It's a hot backup. So type in recover database until cancel using backup control file. Recover database until cancel using backup control file. Just per regular hot backup recovery procedures. It's looking for app2. So that's the problem with using the control file, okay? The binary backup control file that you normally would use with a hot backup. It is expecting, because that binary backup of the control file is an exact byte-to-byte backup of the control file. And the control files are what know about the data files. The control files are what tell the Oracle instance, okay, at startup and any other time, where the data files are, who the data files are, their paths, their names. Okay, so it's since this control file is a backup of the current control file that was on the live database that the live database is mounted with. Okay, he's expecting these files, and when you did a recovered database when you try to do the database recovery, he looked in the control file, and the control file is saying you need to recover all the data files. Here are the name of the data files. And it came across app02.dbf, but it's not there anymore because we didn't have enough space to restore it here. We want to do a partial recovery. So, shut down abort, and this is where that other control file comes into play, the trace one. Delete your binary control files that you restored, and copy the trace one back over, trace.sql, and let's edit it with our editor. And this is what the alter database backup control file, the trace command, did. It created this file that has the command create control file in it. We scroll down and we see it. There it is. This is the command. And I also come down here and I delete everything that's after it as well. So all I have is my command. Now I have to make some adjustments here. Create control file. Always set it to set. Okay? And set this to reset logs. Otherwise, it's going to be looking for these redo log files. So to eliminate that, you change this to set and you change this to reset logs. Even though your database name is finance, okay, it doesn't matter. I'll just overwrite the database name, which is fine. Then what you do down here is I do some more adjusting here. This is just based on experience. I found what you have to do to get this to work. I see here are all the data files that it knows about listed. I get rid of the two data files that I didn't restore. So I'm manually removing app2 and app3. So this is basically, well, not basically, it's what you're doing. You're editing the internals of the control file manually. So we're getting rid of app2 and the references to app2 to control. We are deleting the control file references to data files app02 and app03. Okay, so now when we do a recover database command, the Oracle database that mounts the control file that this command creates will only know about app01. Okay, so we see that the first thing it does is a startup no mount, so we have to run this script while the database is down so it can do its startup. So we save our file, we go into SQL plus, that's this DBA, and we go ahead and we execute trace.sql with the @ sign. Oops. Oh, I know what the problem is. Take the comma away because that's the new last file name. So it's expecting this to be a file name, which it's not because of that comma. But now that comma's gone, Oracle knows not to expect another file name. Okay, so shut down abort, and we execute our trace.sql script again. Okay, control file created. So we just recreated our binary control files. There they are. So it just recreated it. And the P file told it that there should be multiplexed copies of that control file and where they should be, mirrored copies. So it created the mirrored copies as well. Okay, so our database has been left in a mounted state. So let's go ahead and let's go. First, let's find out what archive log we left off on. 2. Okay. So we'll go back into SQL Plus, and since we're in mounted mode, we can now do recover database until cancel using backup control file. This time we didn't get an error because it looked in the new control file and it's not looking for the app2 data file anymore, which we didn't restore because we took it out of the control file. Okay, so it's asking for sequence 2. We hit enter. It's asking for sequence 3, which is normal. We don't have 3. Okay, so we type in cancel. 2 should have been enough recovery, which it was. And we alter our database open with reset logs. Okay. And the recovery here changed the control file from a backup control file to a current control file, which is what a live database instance requires. Database altered. So select name from $database. Finance. Select open mode from $database. For read write, which is open. Select tablespace name from from DBA tablespaces. Select name from data file. Missing. Okay, so that's what it's doing here. And why is there missing entries here? Because we didn't restore those data files. So if we go back to, our alert log for this database, which remember records all major events in the life of the database, RDB, which is under Oracle app, basically the Oracle base directory, diag rdbms finance trace, and we edit. We take a look at the alert underscore finance.log file, and we go all the way to the bottom here. We'll see something interesting. Here we go. This is a normal check that happens on database startup. Okay? It's saying tablespace temp3 found in data dictionary, but not in the control file. Added into control file. Tablespace app2, here it is. File number 14. Number 14 found in data dictionary, but not in the control file. Add into the control file. Same thing for 3. So what this is saying is, when we edited our control file that we got from our trace backup, and we manually took out the app2 and app3 entry of the control file, the database mounted a control file that didn't know about them, which allowed us to get by the recovery part of it. But the data dictionary still in the system tablespace data file still knows about these. Okay? Remember, the data dictionary is Oracle's metadata about data. It's information about information. So what we have to do is Sorry. We shut down immediate. Okay, so we were able to recover our database and we were able to open it. Okay, so we did do a partial restore. Okay, but now we need to get rid of the references in the data dictionary and the missing references from the control file. Okay, so we go startup mount now after we shut down. Okay, and we go ahead and we type in alter. Well, first we gotta select name from the $data file, like so. And we type in alter database data file. And I want to be smart about this. And I specify the data file. Copy, paste, like so. And I offline drop it, and I do the same thing for 6. Okay, so it sees the Oracle database when it opens, it does its dictionary check, and it sees that the control file knows, the data dictionary knows about the data files and table spaces that the control file doesn't, so it puts an entry in the control file so they can match. Okay, so that's basically what happened there. Then we do alter table space, alter database open, sorry. And we do drop table space app02, including contents. Oh, we can just do drop table. Yeah, we can just do this. There's nothing there. 3. We shut down again just to make sure our database is still in good health, which it should be. And we just do startup. We don't stop it halfway or anything. We let it do its whole thing all the way up to open, just to make sure. So we shut down and open it. You know, the internal integrity structure of your database is intact, that it has everything it needs. Okay. Select name from V database. Select open mode from V database. Read write. So finance database, we're open. Read write. Select table space name from DBA table spaces. The only table space we have is app01. Select name from $, data file, and we don't see our missing entries anymore. We just have our system tables type table spaces in our app01 data file. Okay, system type data files. I'm sorry, in our app01 data file. And for a cold backup, it's the same procedure. Just got to make sure, you have to ensure that you make a trace backup of your control file, because if you just use the binary copy of your current control file, he's going to know about those other data files, and he is not, I repeat, not going to let you get past recovery without taking them out of the control file. Okay? All right, that's how you do a partial database restore.